Listen closely. Champions while the world wastes energy chasing the loudest voices and the flashiest headlines. There's a nation that has quietly been building one of the most brilliant strategies I've ever seen. That nation is Canada. And no, this isn't about hockey or maple syrup. This is about something far bigger. Canada is playing a game so advanced, so disciplined, so perfectly calculated that the world's strongest powers are left scratching their heads asking, how did we get outsmarted by the neighbor we never took seriously? Do you want to know what real power looks like? It's not the man screaming in the gym, bragging about how much weight he can lift. It's the athlete who shows up every single day, the one who trains in silence, perfects his form, strengthens his body and mind, and then, without noise, shatters every record while the loudmouths are still talking. That's Canada. In a world where nations throw tantrums, burn bridges, and chase headlines, Canada has followed a champion's playbook, a playbook that says, true victory is not about winning today. True victory is about positioning yourself to dominate tomorrow. While others waste themselves in short-term battles, Canada has been training for the long war, and now, as power shifts, as alliances crumble, as chaos consumes the loud, Canada isn't struggling. It's thriving. Champions versus wannabes. What separates true champions from wannabes? It isn't luck, it isn't raw talent. It's vision, it's patience, it's the ability to think beyond the moment, to see the bigger picture when everyone else is distracted by instant gratification. That mindset is written into Canada's DNA. When I came to America, they told me my accent was too strong, my name too strange, my dreams too impossible, and for decades, the world said the same thing about Canada. Too quiet, too polite, too small, too cold, too soft to matter. But here's the truth. The critics are always wrong about those who actually have a plan. While others chased validation in headlines, Canada was doing what champions always do. Training in silence, building systems, strengthening foundations, creating frameworks not for next month, but for the next decade. That takes discipline, that takes vision, that takes toughness. Look at 2008, when the global financial crisis collapsed major economies that were drunk on greed and reckless speculation. Canada's banks stood tall. Why? Because years earlier they chose the harder road, stability over quick wins, discipline over recklessness. Not popular, not flashy, but powerful. That is preparation, that is strength. Strategic patience. This is Canada's weapon. Strategic patience combined with relentless preparation. They don't panic in chaos, they don't treat every crisis as the end of the world, they act with precision, because they've already trained for the moment. In bodybuilding, the muscle doesn't grow when you lift, it grows in recovery, in silence, in the unseen hours. That's Canada. While others posed for the cameras, Canada was in the gym, building a strength that doesn't fade. The power of team. Here's something champions understand. You can't move mountains alone. The strongest lifter in the world is nothing without a team, but give him the right partners, the right network, the right support, and suddenly the impossible becomes inevitable. Canada learned this lesson early. While superpowers flexed their muscles and demanded submission, Canada chose connection. They build alliances not through fear, but through trust. They don't push their way into rooms, they make themselves so valuable, so reliable, that others pull them in. They're not the loudest voice, but they are the most respected, because when Canada speaks, the world listens for solutions, not drama. That's strategy, that's wisdom. Building trust. Look at their trade strategy. While others ignited wars and burned bridges, Canada quietly spread its roots across every continent, planting seeds, building bridges. And now, those seeds have grown into massive trees of opportunity. But here's the brilliance. These aren't shallow, short-term deals. These are built on something stronger than contracts. Trust. And trust is the ultimate currency. Money can buy cooperation, weapons can force obedience, but trust can only be earned through years of consistency and character. And Canada has earned it. That's why nations don't just turn to Canada for resources, they turn to Canada for stability, for mediation, for partnerships without hidden agendas. When Canada promises, the world knows it will deliver, turning resources into power. Yes, Canada was blessed with resources: oil, minerals, farmland, freshwater, but here's the difference. They didn't just sell it off, they turned it into long-term leverage. Most resource-rich nations fall into the trap of dependency, the resource curse: quick money, easy exports, fragile power. But not Canada. They asked the question that champions ask: how do we turn gifts into permanent advantage? And they built the answer: quiet confidence. Here's something I had to learn the hard way. Real power doesn't shout. When I was young, I thought being loud meant being strong, but real strength is quiet, confident, undeniable. Canada embodies that. While others bang their fists on the table, Canada speaks calmly while others rattle sabers. Canada builds bridges while others scream for attention. Canada earns respect through results. In international crises, when the shouting begins, Canada becomes the steady hand, the calm voice, the problem solver. That's not weakness, that's brilliance, that's championship control. And you see it everywhere in their cities, ranked among the most livable in their schools, producing talent that shapes the world in their healthcare, delivering results without chaos, attracting talent. But don't mistake quiet for passive behind the scenes. Canada plays chess while others play checkers. They attract talent like no other. The best minds look at the noise elsewhere. Then choose Canada. Tech companies set up headquarters, innovators relocate, families move. Why? Not hype, not flash, but quality. And their immigration system? It's world-class, not a wall, not chaos, but a clear door for those ready to build and contribute. The result? Canada doesn't beg for talent, the talent begs for Canada. Values as power. Here's the masterstroke. Canada weaponized its values. They proved you don't need to sacrifice principles to win. In fact, principles are the edge. In a world drowning in corruption, authoritarianism, and moral compromise, Canada showed that integrity isn't weakness, it's fuel. Global corporations see it, investors see it, they know. When you build in Canada, you build on solid ground. That isn't luck, that is design. Diversity as advantage. And let's talk diversity. While other nations fight themselves, Canada embraced difference and turned it into strength. This isn't soft, this isn't feel-good, it's strategic genius in a connected world. The nation that integrates diversity wins the future because they can do business with everyone. Canada saw it, built it, and now they live it. Leading on environment. Even the environment, they turned into advantage. Where others see cost, Canada saw opportunity. They invested early in clean tech, in sustainability, and now, while the world scrambles, Canada leads. That's foresight, that's vision. Winning with wisdom. So when people ask, how is Canada winning? I say, they're not winning with threats, they're not winning with noise, they're not winning with gimmicks. They're winning with wisdom. Champions don't waste energy tearing others down, they build something so strong, so undeniable, that the competition simply fades. That is Canada. Evidence everywhere. The evidence. Look around. Investors choose Canada, students choose Canada, innovators choose Canada, families choose Canada. Not by chance, by design. Canada is proving what every champion knows. You don't need to be the biggest or the loudest, you just need to be the most consistent, the most trustworthy. And when you win that way, victories compound, each success opens the door to more, each partnership creates the next, each achievement builds credibility for the bigger one that follows. Canada has entered that cycle, and it's accelerating. The legacy. The future belongs to those who adapt, innovate, collaborate, and lead by example. On every one of these, Canada is not just present, it's leading. They've built something that lasts, a legacy of wisdom, influence, and integrity. The game isn't over, but Canada is already so far ahead. Victory is inevitable. And the most powerful part? They're winning in a way that lifts others, too. That's not just strategy, that's mastery. Champions don't just win, champions show others how to win. And that's why Canada isn't just winning the game. Canada is redefining victory itself.